Hi everyone, this is Tuplex. Welcome back to Krastorio. Going to continue on here. My research queue is finished, so I suppose I should choose some additional ones. We can do the steel pickaxe, which is always nice. I think I'd like to do circuits. We should do oil. Well, let's do the pickaxe first, because that'll be useful. We'll do circuits. Lab research speed is not that useful. Oil processing we'll probably need soon. Filtration plant, what does that get me? I don't know if I really need that right now. I don't need a fluid wagon. I do want that, so I can get better power poles. In fact, let's do that before oil. What else? I guess military science. Logistic trash slots, and landfill. Okay, so I think that's a decent cue for what we're doing now. Okay, so I've been working in this area a bit to try to get the flow of material to improve a bit, and I think I've achieved that. Essentially what I did is I set the filter splitters essentially as close to the source as they could go, so I could avoid having some backups. But you know, I still get stuff like this where the stuff that I want to get out of here in this lane, for example, can't move because this lane is backed up, right? And I'm not really sure what I can do about that. Maybe if I put a lane balancer on this output here, that would help. We could try that. No, that goes that way. Okay, and then that goes into the splitter where we have iron ore coming out over here. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if this is really going to help, but we can try it. And then the copper comes over here. Okay, that seems like it may be working. And then I'm going to set the input priority to that side so that this doesn't back up. Because if this backs up, then that can prevent the copper from going through, I think. I don't know. This is why I've never been a big fan of the filter splitters. I mean, I think if you can use it on belts that are always going to be moving and are not completely saturated, then it can be pretty useful. But when you get situations like this where the belts back up, I can just never seem to get it to work the way that I want it to. But this seems to be going a little bit better now. But anyway, what I'd like to do instead of all this mess is I'd like to build a warehouse, which is like a large, yeah, see, here's a warehouse. It's essentially a big box that has 500 slots in it. So what I'd like to do is just have everything go into a warehouse and then use loaders coming out of the warehouse, and then I can filter them by what I want to come out. So everything can go in the warehouse, and then I can use the loaders to sort it out. And that would avoid having to use all these splitters and stuff. But to make the warehouse, I need steel. And we're not making steel yet. And from the poking around that I've done, it appears that steel is going to be one of the first semi-complicated production chains that we have to deal with. Like if we go into FNEI, okay, so here are steel plates. You make steel plates from steel components or from matter. That seems to be an advanced technology. So steel components we can make from coal, iron ore, copper ore, and silicon. To make silicon, we need quartz. And to make quartz, this is where the filtration plant comes in. We can make it from sand and get quartz and dirty water. Or we can make it from sand and get quartz and stone. So this is the one that I will begin with. And then, of course, we're going to have to find something to do with all that stone. And once we have some warehouses, we can do that. But I wonder what the dirty water is used for, if anything. Huh. Okay. You can use coal and dirty water to get other stuff. Dirty water filtration. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe, I mean, it seems like that might be a better way to do it. So that I don't just get a bunch of extra stone. Now I wonder if there's a way to just void dirty water rather than using it. Liquid evaporator. Yes. Pure water, water. Okay. I'm not sure what those are. Okay, so let's cancel some of this other junk. And let's do that. Let's do the filtration plant. And then we'll do the evaporator. Oh, okay. I am going to need to do oil processing. And then sulfur. And then I can do the liquid evaporator. So it looks like that's a way that we can get rid of liquids. Now the filtration plant, okay. So the filtration plant needs steel to produce it anyway. So I guess we're going to have to start with the first recipe. But in any case, I've added another mod, which I have used a lot. It's called Hell Mod. And it's a little difficult to use. There are some tutorials out there. You could always just watch me do it. But this kind of helps figure out your ratios and stuff for these complicated production chains. Okay, so I'm going to add the steel plate recipe. Okay. And then we open it. We are going to make it with stone furnaces. Okay, and steel plate is going to be the product. Production 100%. Okay, the mod has changed a little bit since the last time I used it. Oh, output. Ah, okay. Here we go. Actually, I just want this to tell me for one machine. Here we go. Computing by factory 1. Okay, so now this is going to tell me what I need to have one furnace running full time. Okay, so the ingredients are the steel components. So this tells me that I'm going to need 0. Okay. Yeah, this one, let's just do an assembly machine 1. It's telling me I need 0. Why is that? Okay, and then the other stuff, well, the silicon we have to get too from quartz. That'll also be in a stone furnace. And then the quartz we will make in an assembly machine 1 as well. Okay, so this is telling me that I need 0 of each machine. I think that might just be a rounding error. Let me go to the options. Mod settings, factory number format. Okay, let's go to a decimal place. Okay, 0.1. All right, so if I change this, if I change that to 10 furnaces, all right, then I need 1 machine of each. Okay, so this is how we're going to do it. Okay, so we're going to take sand, we're going to turn it into quartz and stone. We're going to put the quartz into a furnace. 1 furnace will do. And then we're going to take the silicon and those other elements, put them into assembly machine, and then we can feed all that into 10 furnaces making steel components. Okay, so I'm going to pin this over here on the side so that we can refer to it while I work. Okay, so let's start with the quartz. And it would help, I think, if I had a lean balancer on this. Well, maybe it wouldn't. It would really help if the lean balancer was down here, or if this was moving faster. You know what I can do? I'm just going to get rid of the mining drills that are picking up other stuff. All right, so this is all just sand. I'm out of belts. Wow. That doesn't happen often. All right, we're still making lots and lots of glass. I think I'm going to stop buffering the glass. I'll just leave it like that. What am I after? Belts. Oh, crud. I have no more belts because I don't have enough iron. That sucks. All right. Actually, maybe I should just stop. Maybe I should just stop the science production until I can get this taken care of. I think I will. That way I can use all the iron to make belts and inserters. Of course, I could stop making these iron bars too. So let's do that. Okay, that way all the iron will go to making iron plates. Okay, yeah, sand. Yeah, I think we can do that. All right, and then we can cut that. We can cut that. There we go. Whoops. Okay, and then we don't need that anymore. Okay, so we got lots of sand. So, I guess I'll put the machine over here. Okay, and this is going to be making quartz. All right, and then can I make filter inserters yet? Yes, I can. Awesome. Okay, so this one will be for the quartz, and this one will be for the stone. And we'll just put that into a chest. Okay, I think I do need a fast inserter there. Okay. And then the quartz we can send into a furnace, which I guess I'll hand fill with coal for now. Okay, and that'll make our silicon. And then from there, we can make the other stuff. Okay, so I've got iron ore here already. So we can put that there. Let's see, where would be the best place to put this? I've got coal, iron ore. Maybe I can just run it down here. Well, I suppose I should do the actual smelting over here, right? All right, so I'm going to do this just to reserve the space that I need for the other side of this iron bar production. Okay, and then here we can do the smelting of the steel. Okay, so that's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. All right, so that's where the steel parts will go. Okay, we can pick up all of this. All right. what did I do? Okay, there we go. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can do it like this. All right, so this is going to be steel components. That takes 3 seconds. We only need 1 silicon, but we need a lot of iron ore, 18, and then we need 1 coal and 1 copper, which is not very much, to be honest. And if I split it right there, then I can just take a belt of coal and copper and add to my wonderful little pot of spaghetti that I have going on here. All right, and let's make that a fast inserter. Oops. And I hope that at some point I will be able to come up with a cleaner layout for this base once I figure out how things work. But for now it's going to be a little messy. Oh, okay. Let's get some belts. Okay, great. Still barely making enough iron, so it'll be good to have trains soon. But I think we're going to need the steel to make the locomotives anyway. So I think it's a good time to do this. Okay. All right, here they come. Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, that wasn't so bad. All right, and this should be enough to run all 10 of these furnaces. And it looks like it is. Okay, so to make that warehouse, we need 30 steel plates and 5 reinforced iron chests. So let's get some reinforced iron. 5 of those. Get some more steel. What is the cycle time on that? 20 seconds. Wow. Yeah, so maybe maybe I should put these in a chest. Just so we can buffer some, since it takes so long to make. Okay, I think that's 30. There we go. Generic warehouse. Okay, we can turn this off. But that's the steel production chain. We're going to get a lot of stone, and we're not using much stone right now, but I I'm going to start using a lot of stone brick here pretty shortly, and you'll see why. Oh, okay. I probably shouldn't have done that. Okay. So now we have a warehouse. Where should we put it? Let's put it... Really, I would like to put it right here. All right, so I'm going to move this up a bit. Okay, yeah, let's put it right here. Okay, so going in, I need, well, essentially I need 1 copper, 1 iron, and 1 sand to go in. So I'm going to need 3 loaders for that, and then I'll make another 3 coming out. Okay, and I should be able to just press R to reverse the direction on those. Actually, let's just make a handful of these. Okay, so now we can put 5 in. All right, we can get rid of that. What's this? All right, so let's do like, let's say 2 from the copper side of things going in. Okay, we'll do that 1 with the sand going in. Okay, we'll fix all this. And then we'll do two lines of iron ore going in. Oh, we don't need that. We need the sand. Okay, so we got everything going in now. All right, so now we'll have 1 coming out. We're going to filter that for copper. Okay, so only copper will come out of that loader. Then over here, I will place 2 for iron. Whoops. Okay, 1 for there. Let's copy that. And 1 for over here. Okay, that's for the reinforced iron. And then we need another one coming out for the sand. Okay, actually let's do two coming out for the sand. That way I can feed one down here. And then the other one can go there. Much better. Now, the only thing that we're going to have to, we will have to manage this once in a while, because inevitably this is going to fill up with copper and sand, and then at that point the iron is not going to be able to get in there anymore. So every once in a while we may have to dump some of it, or, you know, do something with it, since we're not going to be, probably we're not going to be consuming these materials all at the same rate. So, but for now, this makes things a bit easier. Okay, and I can actually use this to put in fuel from that belt, so I don't have to feed it manually. Okay, yeah, and all 10 of those are running. All right, so we got steel. Okay, and then I can just throw my iron ore in there whenever I need to. And if we have to, we can make another warehouse for stone, that sort of thing. Okay, let's see how we're doing up here. All right, let's turn the science back on. Now that we've got the iron flowing again, and I think I will turn off the where's all that reinforced iron going? Okay, I've already got all the rail that I need, so I'm going to turn that off for now so that we can get more iron plate. Okay, now the reason that I said that I'm going to be using a lot of stone is that I'm going to make a grid. Like for the rail system, I want to use the grid that I used in what was it, in my SpaceX series. And I think I had it in this blueprint book. Right, and that consists of, segments like this. All right, so it's two four-way intersections connected by 2 lanes of rail, and essentially one grid would be one of these on each of 4 sides. That would be like one grid section. So the whole thing will be built with these. Okay. Now, I don't have enough rails and other materials to start building this rail grid right now. So what I did is I made a blueprint like this that shows where the edges of the grid would go. And this is with stone brick. So what I want to do is I can start laying this out. And that way I can start to, even though I don't have the rail, I can start arranging things in such a way that I can put the rail down later, and I won't have to move anything that I've built already. Okay. So we could, for example, we could put the first one right here. And we could say that this is, this is going to be grid spot 0. And I can run my bus up in here, and I can build in this area. And so eventually we'll have like a few grid squares that are occupied by my starter base. and then we'll start building out from there. Okay, we'll need some landfill over here, but that's okay because it seems like we're gonna have a lot of stone to work with anyway. Okay, so then later, I do need to leave some space here in the corners for the, you know, for the four-way intersection, which is, as you saw, it's, right, this is kind of how it fits together. And I messed up. I need to move this all by one tile. And I meant to check that first. And I forgot to do it. What I'm talking about is when you build rail in this game, because the rails are 2 tiles wide, the rails snap every 2 tiles, right? So you don't have like infinite, you don't have infinite adjustability with where rails can go. And what I just saw now is that this was offset by 1 tile, so my rails weren't going to line up with it. So what I need to do is I need to put down a single rail section first, and then line this up with that, and then from that point forward, everything will line up with it. I'm not sure if I'm explaining that very clearly, but I'll show you in a second. Let me just clean this up, because I'm going to have to do this again, shifted by a tile. All right, so I'm just selecting, and then I'm shift selecting over the same area to unmark the actual entities. I just want to get rid of the ghosted stone brick. I don't want to actually pick up all these rocks and trees and things. Okay, so let me get a single piece of rail. Okay, so we were essentially looking at right around here, right? So let's say I put that down. Okay, now I can ghost, let's say a belt. I can put one there, or I can put one there, right? But if I ghost a rail, you see how the ghost of the rail moves by 2 tiles in every direction? So that's what I'm talking about. So you have to make sure that when you're working with rails, you have to make sure you check where it's aligned before you start putting down all the other things that can be moved by 1 tile at a time. Okay, so let me get my blueprint again. Well, and let's do 1, 2, 3, and then the other one would go right there. Okay, that's where the other rail is going to go. So if we look at this blueprint again, see now this lines up. Whereas before I had it like this, or I had it like this, I don't remember which, but it was off by 1 tile. So this way I have the rails, and then I have another tile on the outside for the signals. So as long as I stay out of the area between these stone paths, I will be building in a good spot. Okay, and then I can pick that up. And we'll put those in this chest. Okay, right, so we can go up through there with our bus, and we can build up inside here. We're just going to make sure that whatever we do, that we stay out of this area where the rails are going to go later. And this grid design, this is designed so that on each side of the grid I can fit two train stations for 1-4 trains. Okay, so these are going to be single-headed trains, 1 locomotive, 4 cargo wagons, or 4 fluid wagons. And I'll be able to fit 2 stations on each side. Right, and those are stations, I mean, imagine this is rail for a minute, right? So imagine that this is one of the sides. Right, so the stations will come off like this. Right, and these are these are built so that I can accommodate 2 of those on each side for loading and unloading. So I can have a total of 8 stations just around the outside of each grid square. And if I need more than that, I can also build stations inside of it as well, but that takes up a lot of room. And then the other thing is I'm probably going to be using Logistic Train Network to manage the trains. I also thought about using the Train Supply Manager, but for a game like this where I think we're going to have lots of different ingredients and lots of train deliveries. The nice thing about LTN versus Train Supply Manager is that with LTN, you don't have to have a dedicated train for every item that you want to move, right? You can have a depot with a bunch of trains, and then whenever a train is needed for whatever it is, one of the available trains will go and take care of it. And I think by doing that, we'll be able to build the base with fewer trains and not have, otherwise we would have to have like tons of stackers and stuff everywhere. So I think it'll be a better build if we do it that way. Okay, now if I do this completely with bots, it's going to take a very long time, so I'm going to do the bulk of this manually. In fact, I should probably just turn the bots off, otherwise they'll just be chasing me around everywhere. And honestly, I don't even really need to put the stone down, as long as I have the ghost there, but I don't know. I'll go ahead and do it. It won't take that long. Come on, guys. Come on back. I can't afford to lose any of you. I only have 20, and you're going to have to last me for a long time. Okay, so I'll go ahead and finish making this grid. And when we come back in the next episode, hopefully by then I will have decided what to do next. Actually, I think hopefully by then we'll have all this filtration research done. And then I hope that we'll be able to do the filtration method to make the steel, rather than doing this one that creates a lot of extra stone. So I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.